Stream? I just realized I'm not prepared to start the stream yet. I don't have anything open. I also forgot to write this down. Luckily no one watches immediately anyway. Stream. Okay. Do I have a second thing open? I sure do. Alright. Is it set to public? It sure is. Okay, now let me just pop out my chat. Pop out the chat onto my third monitor. Ooh, I do like this. Always such an ordeal. Hello, hi. Hello there, Monty Jenkins. System sound. I feel like this should be louder. Do I have my sound turned down really low? I do have it turned down pretty low. I don't feel like turning it up higher, so I'll just turn up my in-game sound a little bit. Hi, Hero. Hello, Kalo. You pop that chat. Howdy. Oof. And hi. Oh boy. Is that a butterfly? Whoa. So that video I made about the highest hitting skill, I did 300 million with a mana break. A mana break? I'm sure there's higher numbers here and there. There's probably more than what appeared on the list. Here's the thing with that list though. It was really hard to find information on it. Because like when something hit hard, they didn't really report about it in a metric that's easy to search up. Usually they'd say stuff like, wow, my blank ability hit for 2 million damage. And I'm not just going to type in random numbers when searching for these things. I'm looking for like, what are the biggest hits? You know, hardest hitting abilities, broken abilities, glitched abilities, overpowered stuff. So unless they added those metrics to like their thing, oh, I can't mine gold, then it probably wasn't going to show up when I'm searching for it, you know? So there might have been a lot of abilities that hit really hard, but they always have the title of like, wow, 5 million Shadow Bolt crit. And it's like 5 million compared to which expansion in time? Like, sure, that's probably a big deal during the expansion it happened, but you know, I'm not searching for specific numbers like that. Unless it also said, you know, overpowered, glitched, hardest hitting, then it probably wasn't going to show up in my search results. So, you know, I fully admit there's lots of things I probably missed, only because it was impossible to find, you know, through research. Unless you specifically knew what to look for. Like, even when I specifically knew what to look for, it was hard to find specific numbers on a lot of the things anyway. And also, a lot of the things were completely, like, overblown or misremembered. Because I was fully expecting to have Chaos Bolt in the video. And then when I researched it, almost all of the numbers were like, you know, 5 million Chaos Bolt with a one-time use item against a mob that takes 200% extra damage. It's like, see, they don't add those kinds of things into, like, the title and stuff. So I had to find all that information myself, and when I found all that information, it basically came to the confirmation that, oh, it hit hard, sure. You know, it probably hit for like 75% the health of a player, which is pretty hard on a basic ability, but it's not one of the hardest hitting abilities. I was fully expecting Arcane Blast to be on the list too, because, you know, Arcane Mages, they only use one ability, but Arcane Blast never hit harder than a person's full HP, And that's because they could cast it multiple times. You know, like multiple times in quick succession. Like the whole point of Arcane Blast is hitting a big, hard-hitting spell frequently. Super boring stream. Oh, I see what you did there. So a lot of the things people thought hit hard, you know, they're just giving out random numbers to it. When I actually researched it, I couldn't find any confirmation. So I just, you know, disregarded them and went with what I could find confirmation on. That's basically what the list was. And even then, I think I might have made a mistake with the combustion part. Thanks, I love the behind the scenes. Yeah, you guys don't, I mean, I'm sure some of you do, but what I should probably say instead is, you know, the research for those videos is kind of, it's difficult because people don't really record these things. Like, yesterday I was researching a video, and I was just looking for the enrage timer bosses. You know, something that seems super simple. You know, like, what are bosses' enrage timers? You know, they're berserk timers. How long do you have before the boss, you know, instantly wipes the raid? And it was incredibly hard to find those numbers. They're not written down everywhere. Not like on Wowhead or, you know, they're inconsistently written down. And some bosses don't have enrage timers because they have a soft enrage timer in their fight. So obviously, you know, they wouldn't have an enrage timer, and it's really hard to find those kinds of things. I eventually found this information I was looking for by, you know, I've been doing this for so long, I kind of know how to just Google a whole bunch of different kinds of variations of what I'm looking for in order to find the information I actually need. So I'd basically like have two separate windows open. It's like, I need to find the enrage timer on Gul'dan. And I type in Mythic Gul'dan enrage timer, nothing. It's like, okay, next window. Mythic Gul'dan berserk timer. Ah, here we go, it's 10 minutes. Because sometimes it's called a berserk, and sometimes it's called an enrage. And if you type one or the other, you know, Google doesn't know that they're basically the same thing, so it's not going to give you the results unless you specifically look for it. I feel bored already. What an honest YouTuber. You're welcome. I pride myself on my honesty. Hunter. Screen is just black for me. It's fine for me. You know, whenever I'm streaming these things, I also have like a preview window open that tells me, you know, what you guys are seeing. So, you know, if it's black for you, it'll be black for me as well. If it is actually black, but it's not. You are a human hunter? This is just my Halloween disguise. It's a ghost costume. What about the original Divine Hymn, which would incapacite 10 enemies while healing allies? Not necessarily hard hitting, but OP for sure. Someone did write a video, like, do the top 10 best heals. If the original Divine Hymn did that, then it might make it on that list. I doubt it, though. Like, when I'm thinking of the best heals, that's going to be a really hard metric to come across. I might have to make it a little bit more specific. I always hated enrage timers. I like it better when they just have just have the nuke move as gear checks. What? I think I missed something there. May as well be called 20% timers. Isn't there quite a long delay on YouTube stream compared to Twitch? No. I think it's about the same. It all depends, like, each specific streamer can set their stream delay. And I think I have mine set to, like, a pretty fast one. So the delay is basically, like, a couple seconds, I think. I'm just reading old comments. That's all it is. Remember the original Divine Hymn Priest have? I do remember the original. I don't remember it working like that, though. I'd have to double check that. Are you on oceanic servers? Just always thought you sounded Australian. No, I'm on US servers. Are you still in a Rothai? Wow, you are so slow. I'm almost done with the Rothi. Hey, Hero, my guy. Hello, my guy. My latency is 2.5 seconds at the moment. That's about the same for Twitch, I'd say. 2.5 seconds? Whoa, that's pretty not half bad at all. Gotcha, I thought there was at least a minute delay for YouTube. You can set it to a minute delay if you want. I don't have a minute delay on. I'm just reading old comments. Because I'll sometimes go on tangents about something. And then I'll just go back and try to read what's still there. You should change to Druid and go plant some trees. I don't think Druids can plant trees, even if they wanted to. Is this an alt or a main? Technically, all of my characters in Classic WoW are my alts, since I have no intention of playing any of these. I need to kill 8 of these things specifically. Maybe I can find some over here? Also, cheers for the years of awesome content, my guy. Always like your videos and your presentation. Why, thank you. And I had a dream where someone said something similar to that. Similar like that to me. IRL. And I was like, aw, why, thank you. It just reminded me of that. I had a weird dream where I discovered a way to run faster by, like, jumping. And I was like, wow, why did anyone else think of this? You know, just jump forward. You can run faster that way. And then when I woke up, I was like, that's stupid. It's like, sure, there's things like the goose step for like a one-time quick little boost. But that's not a consistent way to run fast. You know, people have already found out the fastest way to run. But in Dream World, it totally made sense. Resto Druids can make like a tree, though. Not in Classic WoW. What quest add-on are you using? I'm using Zygor. The tree that flew right past his head. Probably didn't have time to check his sub fee as he is streaming. The tree thing? I saw a bunch of YouTubers uploaded tree-related videos. I didn't watch them yet, though. What's that about? Ooh. This is a good enchant, isn't it? I can sell this for a lot. I think. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if enchanting's really as worth it. Because, they don't have scrolls in vanilla. You have to enchant everything manually. Hero can't read, don't make fun of him. Forgot the racial icon. Love your channel, keep up the work. Orc or troll? I forgot the racial icon. This is an orc. Ooh, a lesser healing potion. Yeah, a lot of things fly past his head. We should make a game out of it. You know, sometimes I just don't read things on purpose. Or don't respond to things for certain reasons. Most of the time it's because, you know, people are just trying to troll me. That's just normal for streams. Or, you know, political stuff, which I also ignore. Or, you know, other obscenities and racisms. Hello, Kovac. Greetings, friend. Greetings, Kovacs Gaming. Man, do you ever get sad once Pet Battle Week ends and you think, man, there's nothing to do in WoW anymore? My only reason for existing is to level pets and play pet battles. Mr. Beats teamed up with Mark Robber and the other YouTubers to plant 20 million trees. Oh. Well, good luck with that. Basically, half of YouTube teamed up to raise money for reforestation. That's neat. Hopefully that works out for them. Greetings, Welts. Greetings. I'm not sure why Hero ignores my comments sometimes. They're all of such extreme high quality. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever noticed this before, but like go to any stream with a view count of around 100 or more. And, you know, as long as they don't have a spam of chat, you'll notice that the streamer will most likely not read every comment. You know, in majority of cases, as long as they've been doing it for a while. And it's for good reason. Ooh, look, another butterfly. I've never noticed these before. I can't target it. If this was BFA, I'd be able to catch it. Mark Robber? I don't know who that is. I'm sure it's a famous person, though. Poopy head. Oh. Well, I guess that's it for my stream today. I gotta go cry in a corner. Ooh, iron. Why wasn't this shown up on my minimap? Hero, have you ever thought about what you would wear during the purge? Yes. Is this human hunter in classic? It is a ghost costume that makes me look like a human, yes. What's the quest add-on? It's Zygor. I miss pet happiness, ammo, and mana. I don't. It was fun for a little bit, but I've already kind of gotten annoyed by it. I just keep thinking, wow, current hunter is so much better. You know, I was listening to an interview by, you know, like one of the lead designers for Classic WoW, class designer, and they were asking him, like, how do you feel about, you know, so many of the RPG features of classes being removed in later expansions? And he's like, ugh, you know, I feel like all of those inconveniences really, you know, make people feel more attached to their character, like, you know, they're actually RPing as their character and stuff. And sure, they're annoying, but, you know, it makes you feel more like that class. And I was like, sure, it does. But also, you know, how long before that gets annoying? Like, how long before it stops becoming a flavorful thing and it's just a huge annoyance? Like, it's true. Like, I'm not denying that. It definitely does make you feel like more like a hunter, more like you're actually taking care of a pet. But, you know, there's a reason why, like, parents don't like to get their children pet, because they know they'll eventually have to take care of them once the kid gets bored of it. And it's more fun to have these things in idea rather than in practice. Like, the idea of having to have arrows and an ammo bag and, you know, feeding your pet so they don't run away, it's all good in theory and in idea, and even for a short while in practice. But, you know, what about 6 months from now? You're like, well, shit, that idea is no longer fun. It's a chore, an annoying chore that I wish they would do away with. And that's why they did away with it. You know, it was fun at the first, and then they got rid of it because it was just kind of annoying after it was no longer a first, after it became the norm. And then after, you know, people liked the fact that they removed these things at the time. And then years later, they, got used to not having it anymore. And they're like, man, remember when we had to use arrows? Remember when we had to feed our pets? That was fun, wasn't it? Nostalgia makes you only think about the good parts of things. You don't really think about the monotony of having to do it for, a year straight. That's why whenever I have nostalgic thoughts, like, man, remember those fun times? I'll immediately think, like, remember all the really shitty times too, though? Remember how annoying going to high school was? Sure, there was some fun things, but you remember having to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning? That wasn't fun. Remember not having any free time? That wasn't fun. It's like, you're right. Fuck, I wouldn't want to go back to high school. What are your expectations for BlizzCon next week? You see, I'm going to be going over to BlizzCon, and I don't like traveling. It's such an inconvenience. So I'm kind of dreading it, but at the same time, BlizzCon itself is alright. It's a fun enough time. Plus, you get to learn so much new information about, like, so many Blizzard games are, like, some of my favorites. Like, World of Warcraft, obviously. I have the channel based on it. But also, Diablo 3 is just, like, one of my favorite games of all time. I don't really talk about this very much in videos or anything because, like, there's no reason to. But I legitimately, like, love Diablo 3. It's so fun. And I've tried out so many games that are supposed to be similar to it, but I just have never really gotten into them like I did Diablo 3. I'm also, a big fan of card games. So, Hearthstone has always been fun, too. And I literally quit playing Dota 2 when Heroes of the Storm came out because I just enjoyed its system more. I thought it was fun, a neat little, Super Smash Brothers clone, basically, but for the Blizzard universe. And I thought, hey, that would be neat. And then when I actually played the game and I, playing a MOBA without last hitting, I was like, well, I'm never playing Dota again. I've assumed you try Path of Exile. I have. It just never really interests me. Like, I play it, and the people like, we promise it gets better at max level. Or, just stick with it, it'll get better. I believe them. I've been told this by people who've, play games that also I enjoy as well. I just get bored of it at early levels. I don't like the realistic art style. I like the cartoony shit. I like it when it's more stylized. I don't really like the realistic art style in most games. I much prefer it if they have some kind of, pizzazz to it. Even like pixel shit. I like that more than realistic stuff. But, an art style is not going to turn me away from a game. It's a detriment, but not one that would keep me away from trying it. Like, I have Path of Exile installed. I've tried it many times throughout the years. I just never really get too into it, because the combat is also not as good as... The combat's fine. I should say, like, the visuals, the feeling of the combat. Like, when you hit stuff in Diablo, they'll, like, explode if you hit them really hard, and the bodies will fly across the screen. Just the way you hit things, the way your character and the camera and everything moves, it just feels like you can... I don't know. The feeling of it is just better. And then when you hit stuff in early levels of Path of Exile, it just seems so stiff and clunky in comparison. It's like, sure, they're probably doing the same amount of damage, and the visuals are okay, but it just doesn't feel as good as hitting things like in Diablo. Do you keep in touch with Crucial? Like, maybe a few times a year? I don't know if that really counts as keeping up, but, I do talk to him occasionally a few times a year. So, not very often, but, we're not completely not talking either. Need a Diablo world? I don't know if that would work. Part of the charm of Diablo is that there's like an end game goal. with the seasons. You know, like you have the goal of hitting max level, you have the goal of getting your best in slot gear, and then you have the goal of trying to hit a high key. And then once you do all that, you're basically done, and then you can just wait for the next season. I don't know if a continuous world would really benefit that style of gameplay very much. Diablo Immortal DLC, let's go. Hey, I played Diablo Immortal at the last BlizzCon. It played surprisingly well for a mobile game. Your voice is always like this. I miss HOTS. Hey, HOTS is still around. You know, one of the things I didn't like with HOTS was that they kept focusing on like meta heroes. You know, they kept putting out, you know, just generic heroes that would be good in like esports, but they're not really gimmicky. They kind of stopped doing gimmicky heroes after Cho'Gall, and that was a couple of years ago. And then ever since then, it's just been more heroes with like another generic tool case. Is like, you know, one of the fun things about HOTS was that they had heroes like Murky or Abathur. You know, wholly unique heroes that don't exist in other games because they're too crazy. And I was like, man, give me more of this, and they just kind of stopped. And they tried to focus on esports. And I was like, ugh. Whatever, I'll still play the game, but I would wish they'd go more gimmicky, because that's my jam. Like, I have a Yu-Gi-Oh channel that I started basically just building gimmick decks. You know, Yu-Gi-Oh has the same thing where they have meta decks, everybody plays those, and gimmick decks. You know, if you want to win, you don't play gimmick decks. You play gimmick decks if you want to win, like, maybe once every 10 duels. But you'll win in a fun way. So I built nothing but those for like 5 years before I moved the channel to a different direction. Of just like gimmick decks every day. You know, if anything's gimmicky, just like inject that shit directly into my veins. I don't care about winning unless it's winning in a gimmicky way. That's all I care about. So, you know, disappointed, but hey, with the release of Deathwing, with the announcement of Deathwing, it looks like they're finally going back to the thing I liked about Heroes of the Storm, besides the fact that it doesn't have last hitting. That was the big reason that I started playing that game over doing it too. It was because of the last hitting mechanics. I played D2 years before WoW and played D3 for about 6 months. Prefer 2 by far. Hey, according to some of the leaks, they're going to be remaking 2. I'd love to give 2 a try. I just, you know, the art style and the old, you know, old games don't really interest me. Because they have a whole bunch of mechanics in them that were fine at the time, but they don't really do anymore. Like, everything is very inconvenient in those old games. That's just because they didn't have, like, standard practices yet. They were just kind of doing whatever was done at the time, and what was done at the time was make everything inconvenient and difficult. You know, and over time, they've made things a lot more convenient. And that's how I like my games. So I don't really like to deal with inconvenient, you know, displays and everything. Like when I was playing Warcraft 3 for footage, it was really annoying how the keybinds for the game, you know, I couldn't find a way to keybind any of the abilities, so I had to click on them, which seemed incredibly clunky. And eventually I learned there are default keybinds for it. The game doesn't tell you about them by default. And, you know, when I looked up the keybinds, they were in incredibly inconvenient locations that you can't change. Old games don't interest me. Streamer plays WoW Classic. Yeah, WoW Classic's a novelty. You know, I like the world and the talent systems and some of the class features of Classic. But overall, I would really love some of the conveniences there. Like, I made a video that talks about, you know, these are all the things that they've changed to the game that have made it better over the years. It's a heavily disliked video. It has like maybe a 50% dislike bar. You know, because people don't like there's this notion that the conveniences added to the game is what's killed WoW. And that goes under the assumption that the game is currently dead, which is not true. But people like to meme that. Or, not meme it, the classic WoW community seriously believes it. And it's definitely not as popular as it used to be. So, it's probably in decline, that's for sure. But, you know, those conveniences and stuff, people like them. Like, they made those changes for a reason. Mostly everything they've changed is because fans asked for it. You know, people like to say Blizzard doesn't do what, you know, fans want, but it's more like, you know, it's because they do too much of what the fans like that they run into all these problems in the first place. An iron deposit? Oh, it's inside this cave. Which one's Nestar? Oof. Wait, is Nestar in chat? Whoa, Nestor Bear. Well, it's whatever happened to those feet pics? Nestor Bear, you haven't shown up in chat in years. Where have you been? Hi, Flommy. Oh, look. Play Ghost Trick Mill to lose all your friends. Play Ghost Trick Mill if you want to lose. Yes, that's a good way to put it. Switch between key WER and the old keybinds. Old keybinds are so inconvenient. Like, you know, because back then people didn't really keybind. They clicked on everything. So it made sense that they didn't really give a shit about where the keybinds were. Or allowing people to rebind them. That's just one of those things of, like, you know, times have changed. And I don't really like going back to old clunky mechanics. Like, here's the thing. I'm a big Metroid fan. You know, I love all of the 2D Metroid games, and I played all of them. And the first ever Metroid game I played was Metroid Fusion for, like, the Game Boy Advanced. You know, and then I played Zero Mission, and I played all the other Metroid games. I never actually played Super Metroid, which is considered, like, you know, the standard for Metroid games. It's usually considered, like, one of the best games of all time. Like, it's so highly regarded. It's ridiculous. And I was a huge fan of all the Metroid games, and I'd never played Super Metroid. And it was for, like, the Super Nintendo, you know, a really old game. Or, you know, the 90s anyway. It's not super old. I had a Super Nintendo growing up. I just never had Super Metroid. I always had Mario and Donkey Kong. So, I played it, like, years later. And I actually did a Let's Play of it. So, you know, it's on the internet. I can always look back and see what my first thoughts are. And I just kept thinking, this game is so clunky. It's like there's so many things that are so fleshed out in the newer Metroid games that, man, you know, I like the zones, the exploration of it. I like the boss fights. I just wish the controls were better. I was like, I wish I could take the controls from, like, Metroid Fusion and put them into Super Metroid. And I would enjoy this game a lot more. Because the controls are just really clunky. You know, it's like those kinds of things. The game was fine. Like, I beat the game. You know, it was, you know, it's a good thing I actually experienced it, but I vastly preferred all the other Metroid games I played to Super Metroid. Even though Super Metroid is regarded as, like, one of the best games ever made. You know, not even just in the Metroid series, but just in general. If you watch videos on, or, you know, look up list on the internet, what are the best games of all time, Super Metroid usually comes up in those. And I just think all the other ones are better. Because the controls are better. I'm looking at your Dual Logs deck question. Where can I play Yu-Gi-Oh! Online besides Duel Links? Look up Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. And that's how you play Yu-Gi-Oh! Online. You have to, like, join their Discord server in order to download it, though. Greets you with the hearty hello. The future is now, old man. See, exactly. Looks like Reforged with fixed keyboards. Yeah, like, I am pretty excited to play Warcraft 3 Reforged. Because I have no interest in playing the original Warcraft game because the controls are really old. And I don't like old controls. But, you know, if it's going to be the same thing with updated graphics and updated controls and everything, man, that is totally my jam. You know, they kind of did the same thing with Classic, too. They tried to recreate as best as possible, but they still added a lot of just, like, basic conveniences to it that most people don't really talk about very much. You know, like the whole options menu and everything. Or adding auto loot from the start. Because they had auto loot in the game, it's just you had to hold shift for it to work. Have you played Metroid AM2R? Yeah. That is, God, that's such a good fan game. That has got to be one of the best fan games ever made. It plays so much like, I don't need a health stone. It plays so much like, whatchamacallit, a Nintendo-made game. And it was, I think, better than the one they released for the 3DS. I never actually finished that one, though, but that's just because I got stuck. Like, I liked it well enough. I wasn't a huge fan of the controls of the 3DS version. Just because it, I don't know, it's just a whole bunch of weird things they decided to do with it. It's fine, I just got stuck. So I never beat it. That's it. One of these days I'll have to go back and beat it. Because, like, I also, you know, was playing the game on and off for a while, then I hurt my hand. And I couldn't really hold my 3DS anymore. So it's kind of hard to play handhelds because one of my hands is shot. And, you know, playing on a keyboard and stuff, I do a lot of the things for my right hand only. And those kinds of games require lots of manual dexterity from both of your hands. That's why WoW's pretty good. It doesn't require too much clicking, as long as I'm not playing, you know, a DPS class in raids. God damn it. He is a poison. I gotta wait for the poison to go away before I can feed him. Okay. There we go. Well, I actually have a playthrough of the I have a channel called like Hiru's Metroidvania stuff. And I basically play through all of the Metroid games, you know, in a Let's Play format. So if you want to see my thoughts on it, you can just go find that channel of mine and basically just watch the last episode of each one of those videos. Because I played through all of AM2R, you know, Super, Fusion, Zero Mission, all of the 2D ones, except for the 3DS one. It's because that one wasn't out yet by the time I stopped making videos on that channel. Also, you know, since I'm a huge fan of Metroid, I decided to try other Metroidvania games. And I found I'm not as big of a fan of the genre as I thought, because I don't enjoy a lot of them. But that being said, a few really standout ones were Axiom Verge and Ori and the Blind Forest. I would highly recommend Ori and the Blind Forest. Like, it is probably one of my favorite games of all time. It is so good. It's a Metroidvania game, and the controls on it are just like, why don't all Metroid games have these kinds of controls? They're so good. And I'm so excited for Ori 2 to come out. It was supposed to come out this year, but I haven't seen like any information on it besides like the Switch telling me, hey, we're going to add Ori and the Blind Forest to the Switch. I was like, well, I wouldn't mind playing through the game for a fourth time on the Switch. Hopefully it comes out, because I saw some like things where it's a Windows 10 exclusive. I was like, well, you know, if anything was going to convince me to finally upgrade to Windows 10, it's probably going to be Ori 2. But if it comes out to the Switch, you know, then I wouldn't really need to. But also, they did say they're going to stop support for Windows 7 at the end of this year. So I basically have to upgrade. It's coming early 2020. A lot of games release got delay. February 11th. I want to play Ori 2 right away, though, because Ori 1 is so good. It's so good. It's like the best game ever made. Well, it's not literally the best game ever made. The best game ever made is Zoid's Battle Legends for the GameCube. Nothing can really beat Zoid's Battle Legends. Coincidentally, that's probably also the best licensed game I've ever played. you know, based on an existing franchise. Usually when they make video games based on like a TV show or a movie, they're not very good. Unless they're Zoid's Battle Legends, you know? I do want this axe. I want this axe, so I'm gonna go do this quest. Even if it's inconvenient. The guide is telling me, don't do this quest because it's inconvenient and it's going to slow your leveling. However, I want a new axe. I've had this one since like level 23. I really need a new melee weapon, and I don't want to buy one off the auction house. Guacamelee is a great Metroidvania. I would disagree. Like, usually when people bring up good Metroidvanias, they always bring up, like, Guacamelee in the same sentence as, like, Super Metroid. You know, as, like, one of the greats. And I've tried it out, and I don't like it. It's basically an action platformer with a light Metroidvania elements, because, like, the hallmark of a Metroidvania game is finding upgrades in order to explore new areas. Usually areas that you previously could not get to. And I really hate it when Metroidvanias have areas you can't get to because it's just like a red block. And you need, you know, a super smash in order to pop the red block. But you also can't destroy the green blocks yet because you need another ability that specifically only destroys green blocks. I don't particularly like those kinds of systems, even though Metroid has it too. In Metroids, it makes more sense. Like, you know, you can only get to this area because it's like 2 times higher than normal, so you can only get over here if you get like the high jump boots. I like those kinds of Metroidvania progression systems. Or in Axiom Verge, like, you can only get to this area if you're able to glitch through the wall. And there's literally an ability in the game that lets you glitch through walls. I was like, ooh, that's an interesting way to do it. You know, rather than having to get the upgrade that lets you break the red block. It's like, not my cup of tea. And that's all Guacamelee is. You get upgrades in order to break a specifically different colored block in order to progress to a new area. And it's just not my jam. I also don't really like melee Metroidvanias, which is what Guacamelee is. Have you played Undertale? No. I found I'm not as into RPGs as I used to be. I don't really have the attention span for them anymore, unless it's WoW. What's your opinion on roguelike games and hack and slash types? I don't like roguelikes at all. It's too random. I don't like randomized shit. I like it when things were made with a purpose. Because I played, what's that one game? Oh, I'm blanking on the name. It's like you're a knight and you go into a castle, and if you die, your descendant is the one who takes you up, and then you go through the castle and you can get upgrades for your character. But every time you go in the dungeon, yeah, Rogue Legacy. Yeah, I played a ton of Rogue Legacy, and that basically just cemented that I don't like roguelikes. Because the game was fun. It was a neat little progression system, but I don't like random generated rooms. It's just not as fun as exploring something that's been handcrafted for you. I do like hack and slashes though, because, you know, Diablo 3 is a hack and slash, and that's one of my favorite games of all time. I like to try out new games though. You know, I'm not the kind of person who just has like one genre and they never try anything else. I love to try out everything if I can. And through trying all these things, I have a pretty good idea of what I like and don't like. And I'm also opening to retrying old things that I previously thought I didn't like, just in case. You know, I don't like first-person shooters. However, I have played a lot of Overwatch. And I didn't mind it very much, but I also would not say I liked it. Ooh, I almost ran into those dudes. Okay, this is why the quest didn't send me over here. It sent me into Stromgarde to kill things at and above my level. Nope, just at my level. I forgot I'm level 38, not 36 anymore. Rogue Legacy. Have you played Digi Cyber Sleuth? No. I don't know what that is. Your videos are the best, man. Why, thank you, Gerard. No need to spam same thing all over again. Magical... Hey, it's a good thing he spammed it because I definitely would have missed it. Did you just say guacamole? It is guacamole. Will you be trying Outer Worlds? I've never heard of that. He hasn't. Your voice is really soothing, man. I like your vids a lot, partly because of your chill voice. Yeah, I hear that a lot. I really need to make a playlist of my videos that are just set up. Whatchamacallit. Watch this playlist if you want to go to sleep to my videos. Because people tell me they will sometimes just set like a playlist of all of my previous uploads. I was like, oh, don't do that. It'll randomly play like, you know, my news videos eventually. And you don't want to listen to those before going to sleep. Also, do I want some help with the elites? No, I don't want any help. I'll show you how a pro plays this game. By being scared of the elites and moving really slowly behind them. Pfft, too easy. Well, that scared me. Why did my pet run over there? You dumbass. Wait, are all of the mobs over here elites? I was not aware of that. I can now see why the guy did not tell me to come over here. Well, I'm not doing this quest, it looks like. I can still do... Oh, this is all elite. Oh, okay. This is why it didn't tell me to do these quests. Change your mind? I changed my mind in the way that I'm getting the hell out of here. The whole place is Elite's hero? Okay. You see, I did not know that. And now that I do know that, I'm running away. Because you see, in the live version of this game, this place is not full of elites. It is full of normal creatures. Hey, I normally just pick a preset playlist, something like History or Villains Corner. Yeah, but those are kind of short. I really need to make a playlist that's like, you know, every single highly edited video on the channel. So, you know, the top 10s, the history ofs, the villains corners, all of those together. Oh, and the Warcraft mini facts. Uh-oh. I should note, I have some dogs. They're kind of quiet, though. Occasionally, they might bark a little bit. Just a heads up. What about Nier Automata? It's an action RPG about lonely androids. I don't know if I like action RPGs very much, besides Diablo. Because, like, you know, I tried playing Skyrim. That's an action RPG, right? And I played the game for 60 hours before I eventually just quit. Because I was like, I'm not really enjoying this. And I think I gave it a good enough shot. You know, you can't really put 60 hours into a game if you're not really trying to have fun with it. And I just wasn't, so I eventually just gave up. It's like, I like RPGs, but I like very specific types of RPGs. You know, one of my favorite types of RPGs are tactics RPGs. You know, turn-based tactic games, kind of like how you'd play Dungeons and Dragons. I made your dumb face. Let me see what this is. Dr. Wacko McMuffin. Why are you playing Toontown? What are your predictions for the next expansion? I have no idea. Hopefully they address Bwomsamdi. If it doesn't have Bwomsamdi in it, then who cares? Any tips for making good videos as a content creator? Shit, I've never been asked that question before. Usually I get asked, like, how do I get started on YouTube, or YouTube related questions. Not really questions about how to make good content. That's usually never really something people ask about. That insinuates that I make good content, which, you know, very flattered you think that. But when I think of good content, I think of... I don't know, I guess mine would suffice. I aim for, like, slightly above medium quality. I don't aim for high quality stuff because that's ridiculous. You don't do that if you were a YouTuber. Otherwise, you'd never get videos made. However, I don't like to go super low quality either, because the WoW side of YouTube is very high quality. You can't really get away with low effort stuff unless you clickbait really hard. So I kind of like approach at a middle ground. I clickbait just enough to get people to watch the videos, but not enough to piss people off too much, hopefully. And then I make the quality just good enough where you think that was a decently edited video and you don't think about it. But you're also not going to be showing it to your friends and be like, man, look at this quality of editing. Because I have seen something like that. Like, there's this one YouTuber. He doesn't make videos anymore. He made WoW videos for a little bit, and all he made was basically were just gold guides. And this dude's editing was on point like crazy. Actually, it was so good, I have to show you an example. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Because I don't know if I can find it if I'm just looking real quick. History, if I go to my liked videos, it should be one of them from like a year or two ago. So just give me a second while I look through all of my liked videos. I don't like videos very much. So it shouldn't take too long to find. Uh-oh. Is this it? I don't think this is it.
What is up, everybody? It's King Kunta, and today we have...
This is definitely not it. Damn it, I wish I remembered the name of this guy's channel or any of his videos. I'd be able to find it instantly. Ah, I found it.
Hey guys, I'm Steve, and today I'm going to show you how I make gold farming party soup bones in the granite.
Oh my god, this is so annoying.
So let's get
The page froze, so it's not letting me pause the video, but the video's playing.
from any beast in the gran. It can be turned into meat gut as a quest reward in stacks of 12.
There we go. Oh my god, this is so annoying. I hit the like button on this video, this stream. Oh my god, it's taking forever to load now. Why is it when I'm trying to find something quickly, everything just starts taking forever? It's probably because I'm streaming. When you're streaming, that takes up a lot of your internet speeds. Okay, let me see if I can show this. YouTube watching. If I move it, oh, it's in a pretty good position. This is kind of weird. Why do I have it stretched like that? How do I... There we go. Anyways, this dude's... I have to show you. This guy, he used to make videos. His name is Steven Socks. This video was made in 2016 during Warlords of Draenor. This was like one of the last videos he made. And it's just about, you know, farming soup bones.
Hey guys, I'm Steve, and today I'm going to show you how I make gold farming party soup bones in the ground.
You have to see how good his editing is.
Hardy soup bones drop from any beast in the grand and can be turned into meat gut as a quest reward in stacks of 20 for gold.
This is so good. He has like full 3D models that are animated and moving. Well, I mean, this is just from WoW Model Viewer. Another one, and he has like the quest rewards themselves come into the screen. He has kind of unnecessarily long pauses in between it. Then he has the footage come in over a blurred out background.
Macro in the description below. This farm is heavily dependent on jumping servers.
Where's that one thing I like that he
As you're
does?
farming, drop
Oh my god, the amount of effort all of this took.
And although I didn't count the market value for parts in my final total, I did keep track of how many I got per hour. And
See, look, he has an arrow. He animates all of this shit. I have to show this too. You see, like, moving all of these individual things
I was getting 5 to 12 parts.
over here. You know, that takes a lot of effort. And then you have, man, animating all of this shit for a gold video.
Bringing any gear with leech on it or bringing healing tonics if you don't.
This is so high quality. You only really notice these things if you're an editor yourself. Oh my god. Look at that. He moved it to the side and then he brought out, you know, the icon and also the image of the thing that he's farming. That's so good.
I had ice block glyph to heal, so after blocking, I pop. The mobs are densely packed here, so you
Oh,
should
he
never
even
run
has
into
the
things to
thing
farm.
animated. He has the arrow
I did
animated.
check my
He animates
farms, so
everything.
G gold on average. Vendor them. This is.
It's
And
just
although
too
the
good.
meat is out of date, it did sell.
And then he has like
Gold you receive
data points for
turning
everything. Like, imagine if all of the gold guides online were this well done. It's too bad he quit, but he has like some of the highest quality WoW videos I've seen, and he only made videos for like 2 years. How sad. Alexa, play Despacito.
Despacito Remix, featuring Justin Bieber, isn't included with Prime, but is available with Amazon Music Unlimited. Play over 50 million songs with Amazon Music.
No thanks, Alexa.
And then you'll be automatically charged $7
Alexa, stop. He plays Maple Story 2. Gross. Who plays Maple Story? Did he start making more videos? It's all very good, but I thought it was all common. Saw them quite a few in your videos. Yeah, that's because I copied his shit as soon as I saw his videos. You know that one thing where I pull up like... Here, let me pull up one of my previous videos. So I can show you something of his that I've copied. Oh my god, why does it always do this shit? I move it to a new window and then it just goddamn fucking freezes on me. I just want to show something real quick. Why do you have to be so slow? Okay, so I'm going to go to my channel. I'm going to open up my previous video. Not secret stream, very disappointed. Now it's just a boring stream instead, where I just talk about random bullshit. So which do you like more, Pokemon or Digimon? Definitely Pokemon. I was also a big fan of Digimon too, though. Oh my god, it just froze. Okay, while my fucking browser stops freezing. It only does this because I'm streaming. Like, if I wasn't streaming, it wouldn't freeze. Because, like, I don't know, streaming just takes up a lot of internet power, whatever the hell it's called. Bandwidth. I don't know if bandwidth is
What
the
can
right
I
word.
help you with? Be safe.
Talk to Udra, fly to Terran Mill. Okay, I guess, whatever.
What can I do for you? Farewell.
Did it finally work? Okay, yeah, finally let me look at my channel. Great. In this video, we'll go over the hardest... Okay. Now, let me open up my video. There's this thing I do. Ah, here it is. So, let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Nope, that just made it smaller. You guys don't need to see my very impressive YouTube stats. See, look, it takes forever to readjust and stuff. So, if you see this right here, Curse of Doom was a dot that lasted one. You see how it opens up this little transparent window, and it has the game playing in the background, but it's just all blurred out, and then I show stuff on screen, and would only do damage. I got this idea from that guy I just showed you. Like, I never used to do that until I discovered that dude's channel, and I was like, that is a really interesting way to present information on the screen. I can't do it as well as he did, but I can do a ghetto method that looks pretty similar, and this is where this little thing came from. And I've been doing this for like a year now, and that's all because I found that dude's video and I thought, that is a really interesting editing technique. I'm going to copy it. That's basically how I get everything. This video is actually a really good amalgamation of a bunch of different editing techniques I use. Because you see, this thing right here where I show, you know, like there's this little square, and I show footage in the background of it, and I have like information on the left side of the screen, and the background itself is lightly animated. I basically only
And
just
sometimes
put
they
like
can
dust
even-
particles and a light effect. This was copied from Total Biscuit's like daily news thing he did a long time ago. He stopped doing it a couple of years before he died, but it was something he used to do a lot, where it was just basically footage right here, and then, you know, the topics. This is how I do all my news videos as well. It's very good for presenting information and also,
Even kill players.
you know,
with
showing
upgrades.
things on the screen.
Now, considering damage and health values change every expansion,
You know, it gives me a big enough... I experimented with other little windows that made it a little bit more rectangular, because all of my footage, you know, is rectangle. It's not square. So it has to like squish or be zoomed in. And I found the square is just the best way to do it. It gives you just enough video while also giving you enough room to actually show everything. I'm pretty sure most people don't care about these things though, but you know, someone asked about quality editing. I just do a whole bunch of little tricks to make it look better than it really is. And I think that's all you can really do, you know? Because real editing, real hard, real good quality content requires tons of time. And like, time is a very valuable commodity. I only have so much time to work in a day, and I'm not going to waste my life working an incredible amount of time for no reason. Except stone tokens. Because, you know, the number one regret people have on their deathbed is working too much. They always say, man, I wish I hadn't worked so much, or I wish I had enjoyed life more, rather than spending all of my time at work. And I am, you know, that's one of my founding things. I don't want to have that regret in life. And I kind of live my life in those ways, where I try to get as much work as I can done as possible, but I'm also not going to spend all my time working, you know? Yeah, the weapons mounts videos both have a lot of that. You taught me? Yeah. And the way I found that technique was through that one guy's videos. You know, this is also a big reason why I watch so many other YouTube videos, because sometimes they'll have things that give me like, hey, that's a good editing technique that I think I can copy pretty easily. You know, a lot of these kinds of things is just like copying ideas and incorporate it into your own work in, you know, good ways. A lot of YouTubers I found are very hesitant to copy anything from other YouTubers. For good reasons. Like, you know, no one wants to be a copycat. You don't want to copy someone completely. I think it's totally fine to copy like small little elements from people and use that to create your own style. So if anything, I'm looking for things that I can, you know, incorporate, some things to put into my chimera of editing. Since my stuff is just a whole bunch of things from other people that I just kind of do in my own little specific way. Like even the text I do, very similar to how JonTron puts text in his videos. You know, the big yellow numbers, or his old videos anyway. Collect a fresh carcass. This is easy. Do you like watching other streamers react to your videos? Kind of, yeah. Good artist copy, great artist steal. Exactly. You know, a lot of the things I have, you know, were basically stolen from other YouTubers, but I've never just stolen a full-on, you know, style of video. Like, even with all my stuff, it's more like an amalgamation of a whole bunch of stolen things than it is stealing just everything from one person. That just kind of becomes plagiarism at that point. You know, I've also found some channels that completely copy everything I do, and I find that very flattering. Like, there's one video a guy made where he literally just remade one of my videos from scratch. And I was like, man, he must have really liked the video if he's going to plagiarize the entire thing. It was... I wonder if I can show you guys. I'm in the middle of enemy territory. Let me feign death real quick. Let me see if I can find this. So, what is it called? The hidden NPC at Vol'jin's funeral. I don't know if I can actually find it. So, anyways, let me bring this up. I made this video right here called Who's the Human at Vol'jin's Funeral? It was the very first Warcraft mini-facts video I ever made. It's like a stupid series name that I kind of wish I could rename. Where I just go over like little bits of things that are too much for... They're not enough for a full like 10-minute long video, but they're also not really something that would fit in a top 10.
During the funeral of Vol'jin,
And it's really low effort, real low quality stuff. I basically just give a little bit of backstory to the book with Tirith and Korth to explain who he is, with like really ghetto animations, where it is use still images and backgrounds.
and was then brought to the Shadowpan Monastery to recover.
You know, that's it. It's not supposed to be fancy. It's just there to give a visual aid to what I'm talking about, especially since the visual aid doesn't exist in-game because it's in a books only. And that's all it is. It's very simple video. It's the only video that has over 1 million views on my channel that's not a top 10. So it did really well. And then someone completely did the exact same video. And I can't find it. They literally did the exact same thing. They made the video exactly how I did it. They just redid it with all of their own visuals. They even did this thing too, where I have the ghetto animations and stuff. I can't find it though. Maybe if I add Tirith and Korth to it. Tirith and Korth? Was this it? 2 years ago? He made it like immediately after mine.
desconcertante encontrar muchas de las estallar y por lo hasta saber
No, this
sufrido.
isn't it. Ah, I really wish I could find it so I could show you. Well, whatever. If I look too much through things, I might click on something I'm not supposed to show on stream, so I gotta be a little bit more careful with that. Inside this cave is where I'm supposed to do it. Is my pet alive? I'm supposed to come over to this cave, right? It's probably Volti. No, it's not Volti. Like, Volti doesn't steal videos. He makes his own. Volti does everything legit. It was, some other guy. I think it was, like, one of the only videos on his channel. Sorry to bother you, but what is the add-on under your character unit frame at the top left-hand corner? That's X to level. If you want all my add-ons, just type in !addons. It will give you everything I use in 2 videos. All around 30 of them. Uh-oh. Save me. There we go. God damn it, stupid bitch. Okay. Now let's kill the other one. Do you like watching other streamers reacting to your videos? I kind of do. It's mainly just because I have a huge ego and I like to see other people's live reactions to it. Lags are from streaming, not because you used all the internet bandwidth, because your CPU can't keep up with everything you want to do. That's probably it. I need to upgrade my computer. Yeah, the weapons and mounts videos both have a lot from that. Damn it, I put down the wrong trap. This is the thing, right? I didn't know he was going to come from over there. God damn it, this random ass hunter who was outside. You're too low level for this area anyway. I guess I need to do it again. I don't know if I have another carcass to use. I need to go get another one. Oof, damn it. He walks to the entrance of the cave. Oh, okay. Hey, language, there could be small children watching. That's true. I need to be more careful with my language. I do try my best. I just have a foul potty mouth. When I'm angry from people stealing my kill objectives. Hat can I use to record game? Download OBS. That's what I use. Fish, you're only level 38. I just made a new hunter and got to level 35 on live. Well, that makes sense. You should be able to level up to max level in one day on live. Where is your pet? He's dead. Can I show your videos on my stream? I'm a 15 Andy. I mean, you can, but what's in 15 Andy? I know Andy is like a thing people use for that one YouTuber's fans whenever they like something about him. I don't know. I'm vaguely familiar with the term, but I don't know all of the different terminologies for it, or even what its main purpose is to be used for. Yes, hail our Blizzard overlords. You know it. Top 10 reasons why stealing objectives is a bad move. Man, if only I knew 15 Andy equals 15 viewers. You see, that's what I thought it meant. But I thought it meant something, it could be something else. Like maybe you're 15 years old and that's what it was. But yeah, I don't care. Hey, no one's stealing my view this time. Actually, I kind of want him to walk towards me, so I'm going to pull my pet a little bit and then send him back. Man, $2 tip for $30 order, not worth it. That's pretty reasonable. I can't hit max level one day on live because I don't have Zygor. Well, just buy Zygor, gosh. If you don't have it, just spend more money on it. Is Hunter not bad at DPS? Yes, it is not bad at DPS. Yes, I ironically put hashtag do. That's neat. Andy is a Twitch meme to seemingly say you have done X, so 400 Andy would be 300 viewers. Or Yankee Andy might be for you stealing someone else's kill objective. It's versatile like that. Yeah, that's what I thought it was used for, but you know, a 15 Andy still could mean so many different things. Because like the two things I thought were like, you know, maybe it's someone with 15 viewers or someone who's 15 years old. You know, both of those are totally plausible. If they were like a 50 Andy, I would immediately think like, oh, that's probably for their viewers. Because 50 is not really an age that's indicative of live streaming. You know, there's definitely, you know, live streamers who are 50 or above. It's more of a young man's game, though. Young person's game, I should say. Not because only young people can do it, mind you. It's just those are usually the target demographics for these kinds of things. You know, old people don't like to use computers because they're old. Why do you need a Zygor to get max level? Because I don't like to think when I level. I like to just play the game and not try to hunt down objectives. Also, like, leveling in vanilla WoW is not linear. Like, you can't just go into a zone and complete everything. Because so many of the quest objectives require, like, such wide ranges of levels to do. So Zygor will literally tell me to go back to zones multiple times. It was like, okay, you're at a level where you can do this set of quests now. Like, this is my third time coming back to the Hillsbrat Foothills. So the guide itself is really convenient for these kinds of things. Am I supposed to kill this guy? He seems friendly. Come on, pet. Pull aggro for me. Oh, shit. I didn't know there were so many things over here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There we go. Okay, let's kill Richter. iServer. How do you play server? I don't know. What do you mean, how do I play server? Stop summoning spirits. Good thing the pet just chews through all of them. Man, having a pet is so convenient. I'm probably gonna have to run back to town. Yeah. I'm in combat with something? What? Let me get this stone. Do I seriously not have room for a silk cloth? Get him, get him, get him, get him. There we go. Damn it, why did these guys run? I'm not even aggroed onto this bitch. Get this one, get this one, get this one. Stop running away. Also, don't run towards me if you're gonna run away. Where do you live in the USA? I live in Arizona. Worn token. I do need these. I need to go back to town. I need to delete something from my inventory though. Maybe I can just use this. God damn it. I need the other thing too. I'm trying to look for something I can get rid of easily. Raptor eggs. These don't sell for very much. Okay. I need to run to town. I need to clear out my bags. I should have did this before I came over here, but I didn't. So, what you gonna do about it? Also, it looks like I have a quest to turn in Undercity? To steal from thieves. I assume this is the quest. Shit, I'm not running into... Yeah, I probably am. Running into Alliance territory. Let me see. Because I think that's taking up 3 inventory spaces. So I might want to head over to Undercity to turn that in. Frostmane Claw. Oh, that's Thunderbluff. Yeah, this will save up 3 inventory spots. I'm going to take a trip over to Undercity real quick. I live in Thunderbluff. Get it right, casuals. Yeah, get it right, you casuals. I used grinder to low. I don't like the amount of grind to X level it makes you do. It hasn't made me do that in a long time. Like, it had me do that a couple of times, like in the 10 through 20s bracket, but it hasn't had to, it made me do that a single time since then. Because I think they finally updated a little bit to, like, you know, go over here to quest instead of grinding for experience. How are you liking the Hunter so far? I got mine to 60 recently and I loved it. I love the Hunter. I was playing a Rogue at first and then I got bored and I played a Hunter and I was having so much fun I never went back to the Rogue. I might go back to the Rogue and level it up later though. I plan on leveling basically every class to max level. Just so I can have footage of leveling every class to max level, you know, in Classic WoW. Because that is going to be some very convenient footage to have. Although it's taken me a really long time to hit max level. I've been playing basically every day since it launched, and I'm only like level almost 40. DM, I missed this game. You should just go play it. Kind of does that a lot in the 50s, but can also start running endgame dungeons for pre-raid BIS. I had like over half pre-raid BIS before level 60. Oh, yeah, I could totally see it making you grind in the 50s area. I don't think there's a whole bunch of quests around that level, is there? Hey, here, got a favorite type of RPG? I like, whatchamacallit? Whoa, this dude's chasing these people. Those poor little low-level Alliance players. I like tactics-based RPGs. Those are usually my favorite. Like Divinity. I think someone said that and I missed their message, but they were asking about Divinity 2 and stuff like that. And yes, I do indeed like the Divinity games. They're pretty fun. That's like the closest you can get to playing D&D in a video game form. You got a favorite weapon type in RPGs? Usually ranged weapons. I am heading back to town soon. Where is the mailbox in this town? There it is. I think I was in one town where the mailbox wasn't in front of the inn. So now I don't trust looking in front of the inn first. Just because of that one time I got burned. Okay, and I should just be able to sell everything else. If I can find a vendor. Oh, there's one right next to me. About Divinity, try Pillars of Eternity. I have yet to finish either of the Divinity games. You know, one of these days, if I ever finish Divinity and I'm like, man, I want another game like this, then I'll probably start looking for similar games to it. Currently, I'm at the point where I haven't even finished those two games that I liked. Lesser Bloodstone Ore. I don't think I need this for anything, so I'm going to vendor it. Fell Regulations Blueprints. Fuel Regulation. Gorilla Fang. I don't think this is part of a quest I'm on currently, so I'm going to get rid of it. I don't need spider silk, spider meat, raptor hide. I do like to feed my pet raptor flesh. That way it makes him stronger. I'm going to put this in my bank. I don't need this. It'll disappear on its own, though. And I'll get another one if I kill something else. I do need my water breathing elixirs occasionally. I don't need this charm. I don't need this charm. I'll put this over with my potions. Okay, and then I'm going to head to Undercity in order to clear out 3 of my back spots that are currently being occupied by heads. So where is the flight master? There he is. Hey here, is this your second, third, or which alt is it? This is my first alt. Hello. Do you watch JoJo? Yep. I would totally 6 months subscribe to WoW again if they would finally give High Elves to Alliance. Even if they are technically Void Elf skin with blue tattoos like Illyria. Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing. WoW already has so many elves that people get mad when they add another elf race. But the thing is, like, all of the elf races are, like, the most popular races people play. Like, there's a large proponent of people who play Alliance who are Void Elves. Despite the fact that it's a very, it's just a minor allied race. Hope you're doing good. I've been a long-time viewer, and now I'm looking to try out Classic. You should try out Classic. It's great. What do you like more about Divinity? Combat or roleplay? I like a mix of the both. I don't think I liked one more than the other. Or I probably like combat more than I like the roleplay. I like the fact that the roleplay options exist, though. But I definitely like the tactics combat of it. If you want to play High Elves, just play Horde. Exactly. Hey here, what are your thoughts about the Volpera allied race? I love it. I can't wait to play it because I know people aren't going to like it. It kind of does that a lot in the 50s. If you are a fan of Zygor or paying money looking to guide Lime for Classic, I don't know if it works on live, offers a similar service but for free. Guide Lime. Here's the thing about Zygor, though. It also has a whole bunch of other guides that are currently not in Classic. The Classic one is literally just... Oh, they have Hollow's End stuff now. It's literally just leveling. In the live version of the game, like, Zygor has a guide on how to do everything. It's so convenient. Here we go. This is the dude. Take up these 3 bag slots. You stand before me as a figure of vengeance, and I now bow before you in thanks. With that cow's death and knowing that their seeds will no longer spread over the face of Azeroth, I can put my energy into something more lucrative. I hope you loot their farmstead after you finish them off. Damn. She's hardcore.
Watch your back.
And now I have 3 free bag slots. That's convenient. Let me just sell these bracers she just gave me. Yes, Dark Lady, watch over us all. And you are. I don't like the tone of your voice.
Speak quickly.
You said we'd boring. I'm having fun watching. What gives? Maybe you like to watch boring things. Huh, you're level 38. Hey, I'm trying to race to max level first. Don't you know? Let's see. Damn it, here. I hoped you would have stopped playing like all reasonable humans. I don't support communists. Well, I don't think I do either. It's a good reason to keep these kinds of things out of their video games. That is not a dead meme. Do you already have a max level? Nope. It's on what it is. Start with 1 to 2 more than we have, so someone leaves, we aren't too oofed. We already have 1 to 2 more joining. There's no room for more people to join the campaign. If here is a commie, I'm unsubbing. Hope it's okay just listening as background as a radio. That's fine. That's how I watch streams. Hero, should I buy it? The Ugandan Knuckles figure? Sure, whatever. Personally, I don't buy, like, things. I don't like to own things because I don't have room for it. I don't like to buy figurines or stuff like that. If you saw my room, it would be, well, actually, you know, I had a cable guy come in here once in order to, like, set up the router in my room. And he was, like, very perplexed about what I did in my room. He's like, why? He's like, I have to ask, like, what do you do in there? He's like, do you record sick beats or something? You know, I was asking if I, you know, was a rapper or something. And I was like, what? Why? He's like, well, you have the mic set up and the foam. I was like, oh, right. Because I have a standing desk. You know, I have a good looking mic stand with a mic attached to it. And I have, like, you know, the sound foam peppered around my room. And that's about it. So there's, like, no indication of what I actually do. I have, like, a big map of the US on my wall. And that's only because it was a gift. And the only reason I have the foam hanging up is also because it was a gift. And, you know, the mic is for recording YouTube videos. Of course, that's set up. And the standing desk is because I have chest problems. Why did you pick the Horde? I usually just pick the Horde by default. I have foam set up now. I don't know why. I mean, foam is a neat little decoration, I guess. It's Hero. Hey, look, it's Kevin. Yay. Let's see. Hey here, my main is a gnome mage. I was just wondering, are you also one of those races that hate gnomes? I never really understood why that's a thing. I think it's like an alliance player only thing. You see like a lot in Nixium videos where, you know, irrational racism towards gnomes. I don't play Alliance very much, so I never really cared. If anything, my irrational hatred is for Zandalari trolls. Just because they're ugly. Foam stops echoing and reduces sound. I'm sure it does, but I don't think it's really needed for like your room. Unless you have a really bad echoing problem. Like my room is already soundproof enough. And it seems like you'd need a lot more foam than just enough to fill up one wall. Or maybe it does. I don't know. I'm no expert on sound engineering. But I think most people who get the foam, it's more of a decoration thing than it is a more useful thing. Unless you literally have like a soundproof room. You know, like at a recording studio and stuff. Or if like literally you have an echo problem and just putting up foam in key parts of your room will get rid of it. Like, you know, there are some uses for it, but I think most people who get it don't know how to properly place them in order to reduce echoes and stuff like that. And it's basically just for decoration, and they put up somewhere random. You know, kind of like I did. I have the foam too, but it's not for any kind of practical use. It's mainly, it was a gift for Christmas, and I hung it up as decorations. So it looks like, you know, hey, pro recording room and everything, but really, I don't think it matters very much. I need to use the restroom real quick. Okay, I'm back with 23 more bag spots than I had last time. Is the iServer command not working? Ugh. Let me check something real quick. Rules, copy. Who's ready for Heroes of the Storm and Gamers Night tonight? Let me run over here. His pathing was scary. Timers, edit, submit. Okay, Nightbot should be working now. Did I turn off the music again? I think my sound's just really low. I was watching top 10 biggest hits the other day. I was thinking maybe you can do a top 10 AoE. Maybe. Racism towards gnomes is not irrational. It's just like a funny thing a lot of YouTubers do. I never really understood it. It's like, what's so bad about gnomes? You know? Hi Hero, you're doing the best top 10s on YouTube. More of that for your true fans. Man, you'd be surprised to learn, like on my Yu-Gi-Oh channel, I release like 2 to 3 top 10s a week over there. It's so much easier to make them. Why is he like turned around? Last time on Dragon Ball Z. What do you think will happen after the last phase of Classic? Will they release other expansions or go down Classic Plus route? If they're gonna do anything past Classic, they'd probably announce it at BlizzCon. I'd be fine with either of those options, though. Why do I need to kill these people? Aren't these my allies? Hey, Hero, what are your favorite 3 vanilla dungeons? I don't know if I'd be able to name 3 of them off the top of my head, let alone have favorites. See, dungeons require you to group up with people. I don't like doing that. I wish they had some tool that automatically found me a group, so I wouldn't have to talk to people. Maybe one day Blizzard will add it. Will it probably be next BlizzCon here if Phase 6 is like easily a year and a half away? Yeah. Whatever. They could always just talk about, ideas and stuff. Like, hey, we're thinking about it, Look very witchy. Yuruma, please. Wasting an entire race slot just for a different eye color? You mean the mechanomes or something? They did say they had plans that will come up when they're near the later phases. I mean, they can still announce things at BlizzCon. Because right now, it's still me a fad. A lot of people like you aren't max level yet. And if they will quit... Well, I mean, there's also like a lot of resentment towards Blizzard right now. Which would probably cause people to not want to play. Kind of. I mean... It seems like everybody knows about it in the WoW community, but... Not everyone really cares, Also, hey, maybe some people just agree with Blizzard's decisions. They're not going to say it, though, because there's so much resentment right now. So much hatred. So instead, people will just keep their unpopular opinions to themselves. And you never know how many of those are out there. Because you only ever hear the loudest part of them. Upstairs in the building? Oh, I didn't know there wasn't upstairs. That's because there isn't. It's probably for a different building. Void elves, just different colors. They are smaller but still purple night elves. Void elves are pretty neat. They're better because they have the physical model of blood elves, and blood elf models are just more physically appealing than the night elves. Night elves are more like hippie oriented, where blood elves are more built like supermodels. That's why blood elves is the most popular race in the game. People like to play pretty classes. Why do you think Final Fantasy... I don't know anything about Final Fantasy. Let me just stop there. I agree with the Blizzard's decisions. Fight me, tricksters. How could you be so brave, yet so controversial? Blizzard is trying to protect its biggest market regardless of what they might entail. Pretty simple, really. Yeah, I think so. Whenever a company proudly states they're like, we'll let people say whatever they want, in our game and stuff. I always think this company probably has no market in China. Or, you know, it's like a small game where it doesn't really matter. And then if you look into it, you think, yeah, you know, there's a reason they're saying this. They just want easy, good publicity over something that doesn't cost them anything. I mean, only the Draenei made the top 10 thick list. That's true. Only Draenei are in the top 10 thick. That doesn't mean, you know, Blood Elves are still the most appealing race. From a visual standpoint, appealing, that's the word for it, right? I feel as though there's another word. When did you left Arathi? After I finished all the quests in there that weren't requiring me to fight a whole bunch of elites. Yeah, South Park definitely don't have a market in China. I don't think they really do. Even if they did have like a gigantic market there, I would totally be fine with like South Park being the exception to the rule, because they always kind of are. Yes. Man, it used to be so easy to never have any politics in the chat before this whole thing with Blizzard. Oh boy. What about Epic Games? They have a lot to lose by making China angry. Aren't they already banned in China? Armor looks best on female character models with proper posture. The Horde's back problems still killed me. Not if you're playing a Blood Elf. They don't have any back problems. Pokemon or Digimon, which one do you like more? I like Pokemon more. I also like Digimon too. They should make a cartographer profession. You mean like archaeology? I was supposed to go up to the second floor, right? I think I kind of forgot. Epic is privately owned. Sounds about right. Ooh, should I have to fight both of these at once? No, one of them is neutral. If I don't attack him, he won't attack me. And my pet doesn't have any AoE. Come on, pull aggro. Don't let him fireball me. Okay, then we can kill this dude. Actually, I want him to pull over my immolation trap. I forgot to put him back. Like Horde, but they have less standout mounts. Wait, what? I like Horde, but they have less standout mounts in Classic. Really? Maybe. I don't really care very much about mounts, so I'm not an expert on them. Although I want to be able to buy a mount as soon as I hit level 40. I currently have about 70 gold. That's not enough. I need like 20 more for like the minimum amount, I think. I'm kind of hoping I have a really good reputation though with Orgrimmar by the time it comes around. Politics, Sylvanas, am I right? Hey, I'm totally open to in-game World of Warcraft politics. We can talk about how great Sylvanas is all day. I play WoW twice a year during holidays. It's like I'm in heaven when I do. When I hear complaints about WoW, it sounds like just spoiled kids, to be honest. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. You know, people get really angry about stuff in WoW. But, you know, overall, it's just something you do for fun. It's an entertainment thing. It's just when, you know, your entire life revolves around a video game and, you know, you plan your life around it. these kinds of things seem like they're much bigger deal to you. And like, you know, what constitutes something being a big deal to someone anyway? Does it need to have, you know, some kind of financial responsibility in it? Does it need to make you money? Does it need to be related to you for it to be worth your effort of getting mad at it? When you really start thinking about it, it's like, technically, you know, there's no reason to get mad at anything. Technically, you know, if the sun's going to absorb the planet one day, what's the point of anything we do, really? And that's the thing, you kind of have to like dial it back a little bit. Things that matter to certain people matter because it matters to them, and they don't really need a reason for it. And if the thing they decide to get really mad about is a video game, well, that means, hey, whatever. Just means they really like that game. Or they really like to complain. Hey Hero, do you like the anniversary mounts for WoW this year? Sure, they seem neat. I'll add them to my random mount button. I'm farming extra 700 gold for my epic mount right now just to be able to ride a tiger and a gnome. Oh, right. Because getting a different race's mount requires those kinds of things. Ooh, mild dwarven cheese. I'm sure my pet will like to eat some of that. When I feel different, I know it's because class, not because of race. And then Blizz managed to a little with the Dark Iron Dwarves by adding in the mold machine. What? Yo, this Call of Duty game you're playing looks lit AF. This is not Call of Duty, my friend. This is a little known game called World of Warcraft Classic, World of Warcraft WoW Classic. Or Vanilla WoW. Redone, to be short. Oh, I mean, most classes are like that. If I'm on a Blood Elf, it just feels like another human. Nothing special. Another human? What? Humans wish they look as good as Blood Elves. I don't know about that. Humans are ugly compared to Blood Elves. When I play an allied race, I want to feel what makes them different, and most of the time they just barely anything, and the void is supposed to be a big thing. I mean, they can't, like, racials aren't supposed to be big. Racials are supposed to only give you, like, maybe a, 1% increase. That's balanced around everyone else's 1% increase. They don't make them as big as they used to be in Classic. Otherwise, everyone would just play whatever was the best race. And they kind of want people to play whichever one, has like a really niche thing that they like. That's why they give them lots of niche racial downs. Like Mecha Gnomes being able to act as every profession tool and a forge and everything. Because that's a neat little niche thing that doesn't really affect gameplay. Those are the kinds of things they want to differentiate the racials besides just the aesthetic. Because, if they're all equal, might as well just play whichever one looks the best, right? It's like, well, if they're all equal, might as well play whichever one looks the best or has the coolest niche thing. Or whichever one just looks neat. But it's the void, the mother effing void, and this void elf feels a disconnect to it like all the other races, as if I played a purple-colored high elf. Like, if you want Void, you have to play Shadow Priest. Shadow Priest is the only class that technically uses the Void as part of everything it does. That's why the Void Elves don't really make sense. Because they can't really give them too much Void stuff. Because it would just make them broken. And if anything, Void is just kind of another energy source like the light. It's the opposite to the light. If anything, the strongest energy source is Fel Magic. So it's fine for them to be, voidy, and kind of like how the light bound Draenei or lighty, because it doesn't really matter. Poundis Bouncy is the best. I love them. Yeah, I lost one of my Iron Man characters to fall damage. And the funny thing is I was playing a monk, and I kept thinking, like, man, if this character was a panda, I wouldn't have died. Because I would have had Bouncy. Is there any relation between Void and Necromancy? Probably. Like, Void is just dark energy. Necromancy is a dark energy type thing. Like, Necromancy isn't really tied to just one specific thing. There's lots of different ways to raise ghouls and stuff in WoW lore. So I'm sure someone who's void powered could raise people. Just like someone who uses spell magic can raise people. Because, like, hey, it was Gul'dan who created the first Death Knights. And Gul'dan is a warlock. And, you know, Death Knights themselves use a whole bunch of shadow magic. Shadow magic is basically void magic. How do you reply to someone in a stream? I think you just put @ and then spell their name out. That's all it is. I don't think it really gives you an option. You literally have to spell their name out. Or copy paste it, I guess. Sylvanas raised her armies first. Is the iServer command not working? God damn freaking Nightbot. I'm playing on the server Atiesh. Stupid Nightbot doesn't work sometimes. Well, necromancy is usually death magic, but yeah, there's like lots of different ways people can bring people back to life, though. If you're powerful enough, you can do basically anything with magic. In Warcraft lore, anyway. I'm just glad every man for himself is gone. If Will the Forsaken wasn't in Classic, also the ratios would be pretty balanced. You should watch my video on the top 10 best race class combinations. They're not very balanced. There are clear betters. Like being a human warrior or rogue can give you something like a 3 to 5% increase over other classes, which is huge for a racial. Also, if you're playing Alliance and you're a priest and you're not a dwarf, people are going to look at you funny. Back in the day of Call on Death Void, with both BFA, they'd be drawing distinctions between the two. Yeah, I guess that's true. They didn't really care back in the day, but they're bringing Void as more of its own thing nowadays, so it's very possible that it's not working the way I said. I need a new axe. This seems like a nice upgrade, but I don't want to waste 2 gold for a weapon I hardly ever use. Especially with one with strength on it. Ugh. Nightbot seems dead. Necromancy, Shadow, blah blah blah. No one cares except for lore nerds. Let me ask you a question. The wizards of Dalaran constructed a vast magical dome around their heart of their city. They sure did. Thank you, Haruma Red. You're welcome. Enter the building. Is there something over here I need to get? Make Terran Mill your home? I'm surprised they didn't make me do this earlier.
Victory for Sylvanas.
I like how they all say victory for Sylvanas. That's my favorite part of Classic, is when they tell me victory for Sylvanas. Can I feed my pet candy? No way, it lets me feed him candy. I don't know if it gives him happiness or not. Like, boars can eat anything, but I don't know if they can eat candy. Captured farmer. Oh, are these the ones you, like, feed stuff to? So that they die. Empty your bags. Don't tell me what to do. I was gonna do that anyway. Sharp claw. I don't know if I need shadow gems. I'll just put shit over here. I think my boar likes to eat this cheese, so I'm gonna feed it to him instead of selling it. I will tell you and you will like it. Void on the other hand. Just wait for the next expansion. Properly, there will be lots of death-related stuff. Hey, I'd be all for it. I'm surprised people are so receptive to the idea of a Wrath of the Lich King, too. Like, I thought people would get mad if Blizzard, you know, went something in that direction. It was like retreading old things. Come on, Blizzard. But people have been talking about it as if that's the one thing that could save WoW. Which means that it's a popular idea. And that's kind of baffling to me. Because I didn't think people would be so receptive to an idea like that. Are you in an I'm with her when it comes to Sylvanas? For sure. You guys just don't know. She's just misunderstood. You guys will see, then you'll all be sorry. Can you give him candy until he pukes, or is that only in BFA? I don't know if you can do that in Classic. Like, feeding your pet, he's not going to puke no matter what you give him. He might not like what you give him and then lose happiness. But he won't throw up. Need water. Walt was the best expansion. Like, sure, but also, that doesn't mean people want to redo it. You know, it's like two different things. It could just be seen as like, you know, retreading old ground, reusing old stuff. And that's what I thought everyone would say, but no, it's a very popular idea I've found. I'm kind of surprised by it. Scourge is the coolest faction of the whole WoW. It's easily a fan favorite, and it's not difficult to see why. Another Wrath expansion is an instant win. Like, here's the thing people might forget about the Lich King. The Lich King was like, you know, a minor plan of the Legion. Like, the Lich King and all of the undead, that was all orchestrated by the Legion itself as a way to prepare Azeroth for them to come into the world eventually. Like, it was just kind of, you know, a thrown together plan B type thing, not even one of their main concerns. And it's like one of the most popular things in Warcraft, and it was just kind of a side plot of the Legion. And with the Legion dead, you know, they were a much bigger threat than anything the Lich King could do. And the current Lich King isn't really hostile towards all life on Azeroth. Like, the original Lich King, his plan was to build an army so that he could eventually fight the Legion. Or, you know, defend the world from the Legion. For personal interest, not out of the goodness of everyone's heart. He wanted everyone to be his undead army. That way he could better stand up to the Legion, who was definitely going to come after him, because he was just a creation of the Legion. Man, I need to use the restroom again. I shouldn't have drank a whole bottle of water. Oh boy. What are your thoughts on the replacement of a Titan Forge in 8.3? I love the idea of it. I want to get as much corrupted gear as possible, but you know, it really depends on like how they implement it. Because currently, Titan forging is pretty rare. War forging isn't super common either. It's kind of something that happens sometimes. And like, how often do you get new pieces of gear anyway? I'm sure some people get a lot of it though, if you run like the Mythic Pluses or stuff like that. But if the corruption system, you know, you get on pieces of gear as often as you get War Forging and Titan Forging nowadays, then I can't imagine I'd have a lot of pieces of corrupted gear to play around with. So I'm kind of hoping they make it more common. That way I can actually get a full set of corrupted gear just for fun. I love the idea of it. It's very RPG focused. You know, people have been complaining about no more RPG elements in the game. And hey, this is a really good way to add it. Corrupted pieces of gear that give you negative effects in order for some positives. It's a great idea. It's going to piss off the min-maxers, but everything pisses them off. You know, the only thing you can do to please min-maxers is to only give standard stats to your gear and have no fun effects because they hate that shit. Because it's so random. It messes up their numbers. They want to do every last bit of possible extra damage, and they hate having to do more math to figure out what that is. So of course they're going to be mad about it. You're going to see lots of people who are mad about the new system. I think it looks awesome. You know, if they're going to replace Titan Forging with this, hey, that's a great way to do it, I think. As a healer, though, I don't really have to worry about min-maxing as much as DPS players, though. So I kind of have a different biased viewpoint of it. Because I also didn't mind benthic gear. Only because I got really lucky with my socket bonuses. Like, I got my BIS socket bonuses pretty quickly. If I had to re-roll like 100 times in order to try to get a socket, I'd probably be pissed too, but I didn't. So I didn't really see what the big deal was. Especially since a socket isn't really as big of a deal as the trait itself. Like, sure, a socket is a pretty decent DPS increase, but the actual trait itself is what you're actually looking for. You know, extra 3% crit while inside the raid. That's pretty huge. Having an extra, you know, that would give you like something, you know, maybe 1,000 extra DPS, which is pretty big. And then if you had a socket on top of that, that's an additional 150 extra DPS. You know, waiting forever just to get that extra 150% isn't really worth not taking the 1,000% increase. I think like the loudest people who complain are just like too used to min-maxing everything. And they don't like to have to do math. Which is kind of contradictory to the fact that they do tons of math for their gear. I don't know, it's like they mathematically figure out the best possible way to do DPS with everything they have in the game. And then they get mad that they have to do it. I don't really get it. And they say, well, because new players, you know, they don't know what the best gear and stuff is. Like, sure, that's true and everything, but they also, you know, don't care as much. You're assuming they care as much as you do. Crimson got made a lot better by Ryan responding to Soul today. Yeah, I guess. You know, I say all this because I haven't play tested it yet. Like, hey, what if I do it in practice and it ends up it's really annoying, you know? I don't actually know yet. The idea and concept sounds neat. I don't know how it's going to work out in practice, though. You know, kind of like hunters and ammo and feeding their pet. In practice, no, in theory, it sounds neat. You know, hey, you know, it's just like being a hunter. It's really RP flavored. Having to have ammo for all your abilities and having to feed your pet. In theory, it sounds neat. In practice, it's fun for a little bit, and then it just gets annoying. You know, that's what I have to kind of think about. It's like, in theory it sounds neat. How will it be in practice, though? Because theory and practice are sometimes different. That's why Blizzard just kind of goes ahead with their ideas most of the time. Because they have to put it out and see people, you know, do the things in practice before they decide if it's a failure or not. Because people react negatively to everything they do. If there's a change people get mad. People instinctively don't like change. So they kind of just have to put it out in practice and see if people really don't like it because they don't like the system, or if they don't like it because they just don't like change. You know, that's how you get things like Azerite, the early version of it. You know, sure, people complained about it, but people complained very loudly about literally everything. And how was the Azerite complaints any different? You know? Maybe people didn't complain so loudly about every small little thing, they would have taken it more seriously. But the fact is, people do complain very loudly about every little tiny thing in the game. So it all kind of just blurs together. So when there's something that people are actually like, wow, this is really bad, you know, it just kind of gets drowned out in the same old, same old. Get back here, you stupid boar. I'm in combat with what? Oh, it's locked. Okay, that's fine. Get 3 elemental bindings. Oof, this is pretty gruesome. Change. I'm okay with changing, get used to things quickly. Yeah, so am I, but you know, you're abnormal if that's the case. That's not a normal thing. People on a whole, you know, aren't resistant to change. This is why you can't really use absolutes for everything, because there's always exceptions to the rule. It's more of like, you know, do 55% of people like change? Probably not. Do 45% of people don't care? Probably, but that's also not the majority. It's a large group of people, but, you know, it's not the majority. Original tweet. Forgot Wowhead is weird. What about Wowhead? Don't you effing tell me what I can and can't watch. You're not supposed to watch. It's boring. You don't want to be bored, do you? Oh, I'm at 2 hours. I should probably wrap up the stream. Sorry, everyone. I know you guys all had a very boring time, but... Oh, I guess I'm not sorry. You know, should be saying, thankfully for you guys, you don't have to be subject to the boringness anymore. I'm sure, who else is streaming right now? I'm sure, oh, Hazel's streaming right now. Alright, she does a stream on... She has a much more fun stream. You guys should all go watch Hazelnutty Games on Twitch TV/hazelnuttygames.com. Much more interesting stream instead of a boring one like mine, since I will be ending it soon after I kill a couple more elementals. I always come to your stream late. Maybe not. I think I'll just go end it now. If I go for too long, I probably won't ever stop. I need to have strict stopping points, otherwise I'll just probably go until... Oh, I kind of want to kill a little bit more elementals, though. I have bad impulse control. That's what I'm trying to say. This is why, you know, I try lots of things and then fail. Thanks for the $10 donation, alt-tiered. Have a good weekend. Why, thank you. I plan on going to the pumpkin patch this weekend. And then I have to go to BlizzCon next week, and that's going to be a pain in the ass. Mainly because of the travel. Like, the time at BlizzCon is always pretty enjoyable. It's a big old convention center in a nice air-conditioned room.
Have a good weekend.
With a whole bunch of announcements that I'm actually looking forward to hearing. It's all a fun little atmosphere. It's just, God, California sucks. It feels like I'm going back in time in progression when I go to California. Because the roads suck. And, like, they don't have paper bags in the stores. And they don't have any self-checkouts. And all the stores are, like, small or family-owned. And it's sickening. Free Hong Kong. Yes, yes. Free Hong Kong. You would agree with DevBot, the weather bot. I don't know anyone who actually likes California. I don't. I never want to live there. Yeah, California doesn't suck. I mean, it does, but not for those. The roads suck. They don't have plastic bags. They don't have self-checkouts. All of the things look, most of the buildings look kind of dirty. I had never seen an abandoned lot before I went to California. Like literally an abandoned lot in the middle of like a whole bunch of other residential neighbors or, stores and stuff. Literally just a lot with like nothing in it and a sign that says like, don't come in or something. I was like, holy shit, we don't have those in Arizona. Or if they do, I've never seen them. I was like, my God, this place, isn't California supposed to be like the most populous state? One of the richest states too. Why does it look like this? Abandoned lots are things because unlike AZ, we have actual cities. I mean, we have cities here too. Arizona is like in the top 5 of the most populous states. It's not small. There's a lot of people living here as well. It's just, I think a lot of the architecture and stuff is more new in Arizona because it's developed like in the past maybe 50 to 100 years. Whereas California is like one of the OG ones. People went to California for the gold rush back in like, the 1800s. So it's really old and has lots of history, and Arizona doesn't really have that. So we have lots of modern architecture and layouts of the city and stuff. So that's why it probably feels better. Because it's newer. North Cali is much better. I've never been to North Cali, so maybe that is. Like, California is a big place too. I'm sure maybe I just didn't like the areas I went to. So far, I really didn't like San Diego. Like, holy shit. That was the worst. And then when I go over to the convention center for BlizzCon and stuff, that's fine. It's fine around the BlizzCon area, but maybe I just went to a ghetto part. Because, I mean, I did stay at a Motel 6. Phoenix, Arizona is the 5th most popular. Yeah, no one lives in Arizona, confirmed. Yeah, like, Arizona has a big population. It's not as big as California. California's like, what, 5 times bigger? Because California's like the biggest by a wide margin. No one else comes close to it. But Arizona's, not small either. If anything, it's more like, I never liked Arizona very much. I always wanted to move somewhere else. Until I started visiting California regularly. And then it retroactively made me appreciate Arizona so much more. Because I always think, man, whenever I get home from the airport, I just think, oh, I'm so glad to be back. I can't stand the roads in California. It's so bad. Let's see. The top 5 most populous U.S. states are California, Texas, Florida, New York, Illinois. That one surprises me. Well, Arizona's obviously not in the top 5. Is it at least in the top 10, Sir Welts? Classic is boring to watch. I know it's boring. I'm going to be ending soon. You guys, Illinois is only because of Chicago, I'm sure. Illinois, Chicago. What? I thought Chicago was a state. Am I just stupid? Probably. Chest. You ran by a chest? That one's locked. Gotta move away from the inner cities in LA. Yeah, probably LA is just a bad area. I'm pretty sure there's parts like, I'm sure there's parts of Arizona that aren't nice either, and I've just never been there. Probably just the parts I live in are nice. Or, parts of it anyway. Like, there is a trailer park maybe like a few miles from here that I sometimes pass by whenever I go to Walmart or something. I'm sure... No, even the roads over there are nicer than California. Well, here, no lock bombs. No, I really do want to get engineering, but I make more money if I have 2 crafting professions leveling up. And I really need money. Glendale is kind of gross? Probably. Like, I'm totally sure there's some parts of it that aren't really nice. Save me, bacon. Oh my god. Chicago is a state. Hugh, 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 Hugh. Hey, I followed that by saying I'm probably stupid, so, hey, self-deprecation. It's an endearing trait. You know, here's the thing, like, sometimes I'm wrong about things, and nothing makes you seem more likable than admitting that you're wrong about something. Like, I revel in the opportunity to be wrong about something I was confident in. Because then I can start saying, like, oh, you know what? You're totally right, and I was really wrong about that. You know, and since that's such a... Most people don't like to admit that they're wrong. It doesn't happen very much. Even when they are, they'll just double down or, you know, move the goalposts. Like, I wasn't actually arguing about that thing. It was something else the whole time. You know, or they just get pissy about it. But not me. I love the opportunity to be wrong about something because it makes me seem more likable. Because nothing makes you more endearing to someone than, you know, admitting that you were wrong about something. It's like a hack. Ooh, shit, I'm losing a lot of health. It's a psychology hack. If you want to seem more likable to people, admit that you were wrong about something you were confident in. You hear that, Fell Plague? And it's kind of like in D&D. You know, whenever we're DMing, I'm not going to... You know, it's a sign of a bad DM to just do whatever your players say. You know, if they try to do something weird that's clearly against the rules or would give them a huge advantage, you know, you have to tell them no. But also, you know, if they're arguing something that's kind of in a gray area, or, you know, something I know I'm right and they're wrong about, I always like to just say, like, sure, why not? As long as it's a consistent rule that we're going to apply to NPCs as well. Or also, you know, if I'm wrong about the rule, you're free to look it up and I'll change it. Or, you know, sometimes, hey, I'm just wrong. Or they'll give me a thing and be like, yep, I was wrong about that. We're not going to change things that's happened in the past, but from now on, we'll go with the correct ruling. I need 2 more bracers and then I'm done. Just 2 more bracers. Cali is the best where Joe lives. Maybe because the ACT example practice question is always something like Chicago is blank a city, C, state, town, nation. Hell, I don't know. I might be confusing Chicago with Colorado. As weird as that sounds. I was thinking, like, that's where South Park is, right? It's like, oh no, that's a completely different thing. I did the quest this morning, just like Ligma. Yeah, things like that. You always got to be careful. Like, whenever I'm streaming on my Yu-Gi-Oh channel, like, half my stream is just people trolling. It's not the best chat in the world, so I have to, like, pre-screen everything I read. It's kind of annoying. That's why I usually prefer to stream on YouTube. I mean, my WoW channel. Because the chat is usually just of a little bit higher quality. Ah, pull aggro for me. Well, it used to be. Like, recently with the whole, you know, Blizzard controversy stuff. It's not as good as it used to be. But even then, I still don't really have to worry too much about trolls, as much as I do on my Yu-Gi-Oh streams. It's quite nice. I still remember when we got 10 transmogs and Kata, you idiot. Well, I mean, when it comes to videos, that's a little bit different as well. Ah! I don't have mana. I gotta let him die. And then just kite. I don't have mana. Don't dodge that. I don't have mana for this. I don't have the mana for this fight, so I'm just gonna loot all these corpses and then feign death. Because it would take me forever to kill him. Damn it, did I even get shit? That sucks. Except I wrote Cataclysm and you changed it. Probably. True, we're all high quality H2O here. Run away! Run away! He doesn't have any ranged attacks, so I should be able to outrun him in aspect of the cheetah. Bind the auto shoot? It is bound. It's bound to the 8 button. It was just, I didn't have mana to try kiting him. Like, I didn't have enough to keep up concussive shot or wing clip. It's better to just run away and reset. It'd be faster, too, than trying to do this shit, because I can just kill him really fast with my path. God damn it, don't path over here. Oh, don't path near me. Don't path near me. It won't kill me, but it'll be very inconvenient if you do. Okay, let's bring out my pet. I do need to kill one more of these. Fuck. Accidentally clicked that. Okay, go get him. Ah! Well, I almost kited into something else. Is there aspect of the turtle in Classic? No, aspect of the turtle wasn't added until Legion, I think. Before then, it was an ability called Deterrence, which wasn't added until the Burning Crusade, I think, and didn't work anything like it does, like it eventually ended up being. Buy mana potions then? Shit, I do have mana potions. I forgot. Oh shit, I totally forget I have mana potions. Did I finish the quest? God damn it. How do these things not have bracers? They all have 2 bracers. How are they not dropping any? Ugh. It doesn't matter if I get the last bracer or not. I'm just going to end it here. Okay, I'm going to go now. Goodbye, everyone. I don't know if Hazel's still streaming, but I'll link her stream anyway. You know, if you want to watch a non-boring stream, tell her I said hi. Scarlet Monastery. Let me browse your goods. Okie dokes. I'm gonna go now. I gotta get ready for gamer night, because we're gonna be gamers and play video games. Goodbye, everyone.